So let's take a moment to review all of the steps involved in working with goal-based outcomes with our clients. So step number one, when we're setting up a new client within Pragmatic Tracker and we're creating the profile for that client, you'll remember that down here we get to choose which measures we're working with, and you can see that goals is one of the options. So if you think you're likely to want to work with goals, even if not necessarily right from the very beginning with your client, you could decide to choose it here in Client Profile. And that means that by default, with each new session you create, then goals will be chosen for you. Now let's look at this one appointment I had with my fictitious client on the 25th of March, yesterday. And let's look at what we have here. Now you can see there's nothing about goals showing up on the session record at this point. Now let's go back and just check on that appointment form for that particular session yesterday. And you'll see that goals is already chosen, which it will be by default because it was set up in profile. If it hadn't been set up in profile, it will be here and available anyway to tick for any particular session. So that's good. So now we do our session with our client, and in that first session discuss with the client goals that they might have that they want to work towards as part of the treatment, and we'll ask them to score the goal, scoring 0 not met at all, 10 completely realized, and 5 as the halfway marker point. And we'll jot those down in our session with the client. Client leaves and it's late in the day, we don't want to write the treatment record up today, so we come back tomorrow, the 26th, the day afterwards, to write everything up. So we log in and we come to that particular session, and of course this is where we can have our notes, and then we decide we want to go to add those goals that we recorded yesterday. So here we are on the goal form, and we go add new goal and label it to exercise more. And the detail to walk 3 times a week for 30 minutes. The language of the client is what's important here, because whatever we write in here is what the client is going to see the next time they score these goals. So we go create, and then let's add another goal. And this goal could be eat less. Cut down on carbs, for example, and we go create. Now if you notice, the date that these are reported are today's date, because it changed to this by default the 26th of March. Now if we return to our session record, you'll notice there are no goals here. And I've done this deliberately because this is a common problem that people need to realize. The dates must match. So you can see the date of this session was the 25th of March, but the dates that we put in for these goals were the 26th of March. So let's just go back and edit those now. Make those the 25th of March. And let's make the other one the 25th of March. And now let's return to our session record. And lo and above, the goals appear. Now, this is just that one tricky first step. Now we can go in and score the goals at whatever our clients told us in that session. To exercise more, not at all met, to eat less, 3, whatever it might be. Now, once they've been scored this first time, when we go to add another session for the client, we've already established that measure. So if the client is coming in, for example, on the 1st of April, and we decide that we'd like to have them score those goals that got created, they will be there to be scored. and you'll see that as we scroll down here, they are readily available to be scored. And when we go to open the client questionnaire or send the measures link to the client by email, they will get the link as they do to the core measure and the ORS in this case. They will also get the link to the goals that will just follow on in natural sequence, just like it's a new measure. So the important time is at that very first session. When we're first entering goals for a new client, we must make sure that the date that the goals are given as reported on is the same date as the session date. This is this date here. This one must be the same as the session date.